It all started with Andrew Bird when I got my first pair of dry headphones. I got these Roland headphones. I can't remember what they're called, but whack Roland headphones. But they were decent, It's like I'd never heard music through dry mixing headphones before. And then I heard the placement of all these things for the first time.
It's like the true rawness of the track.
And I would intensely start listening to music then. I remember sitting in my room in Cape Town, lying on the floor, like listening to music all the time. If you aren't mixing it with dry headphones, you got to get some dry headphones if you're listening.
Yes, yes.
I feel like it's like hearing music for the first time in a new way. Every time you get like new speakers or new headphones or something, it's like there's this magical first listen. My brother got some HS8s.
Oh, yeah.
He's like, I've been listening to Tool since the 90s, and I've never, ever heard the song like this before. And I was like, bro, I know. It's like a different experience when you get to hear music through good headphones or good speakers.
Totally.
We're very blessed to get to do it.
Instead of hearing it through a cell phone.
Yeah.
A lot of times, I don't know about you, but I use a car speaker test before I do anything.
Always. You have to.
Does this bang enough? I don't know.
In the Honda, baby.
Yeah, man.
You can't shake that beast, bro.
No. She's with me.
I was wondering why the paint was peeling off, dude. It's because you're blasting that music too loud, bro.
Yeah,
you be shaking that
banging
thing, bro.
beats, yo. Knock the rust off.
You gotta do that test, because then the irony is that then we all get this nice equipment and stuff, and most people don't listen to the music on. I mean, look at everyone says you must optimize your content for mobile.
Yep.
So that's why you get those little Mixcube speakers. Mm-hmm. And those things change the game. That was the biggest test, eh? Wasn't that the hardest thing to overcome? How many anxiety-ridden moments do you have showing people music in your car when you know that it's not going to bump like super hard in the car? Like when you start making music and like you've heard this thing in your headphones and it's banging, and then like I want to show my dad in the car and he looks at me like unimpressed. Like
it's like, yo, I tried so hard on this, like you don't even know.
This sounds like trash, bro.
My problem would always be too much bass, bro.
Yeah.
I love the bass though. You got to feel it. But sometimes I go overboard.
Yeah, bro.
The car would let you know, like, cut back.
You got to get a sub then, bro, eventually to dial in your bass, because like you don't even realize half the bass is there until there's a sound system that can actually access that part of the bass, and then it's too much.
Facts. You just hear that rumble the whole time. It's like, ooh.
I found the setup for me is I just have 3 sets of speakers now.
What's your setup? Your mains?
So we have the Focal Twins for the mains, and then we got the Adam, just the A7s are the other ones, and then I got the Avantone mix cubes.
Nice.
And I can switch between them. So when I mix, I'm like constantly bouncing between them. And I find that if I get a good mix, especially on the mix cubes, I feel like the mix cubes are the best speakers I have. I mean, the Focals, don't get me wrong, they're amazing. But like for actually getting stuff to sound really good, it's like those things are amazing. Because it does, I mean, you'll be surprised that if something sounds good on one of them and you switch to the mix cubes, how suddenly something will be totally gone or disappeared or too loud. And if you just make slight adjustments and you go back, it's profound. Like you wouldn't even hear the stuff.
Wow.
So it's nice now because now I have a setup where I'm confident enough that it's going to probably sound good in the car. But it all started on a laptop with headphones. And,
humble beginnings.
Yeah.
But like eventually, like the more you work, you realize that you need to have special tools for special situations.
I mean, look at what people have at their offices. If you go to a dentist or if you go to an accounting firm or if you go to anything, they have machines and computers that allow them to do what they do. For us, it's just different things. I mean, technology is so nuts now that you don't need all the analog gear. You can just get digital versions of the analog gear, and you can very much like streamline a studio. I think that's the funniest thing is studios seem almost obsolete to me at this point. Because like if I had a budget to go record, unless I needed to go record a band or do something, like I wouldn't go rent out a whole studio to just record vocals because it's just so silly to me.
Yeah.
If we have everything we need at home and we have nice mics and
and it's accessible for everyone.
You know, because people still go and spend so much money to go to like a studio where it has the big fancy desk. But like the irony is that people don't know like you're using like 3 tracks on the whole desk and you're paying for the whole desk and you don't even need the desk. Like they're not even using the desk. Like they're putting it through their Pro Q3 anyway. They're not mixing it on the desk, bro. The desk is just there for show and tell, bro. It's like, look at the desk, bro. This is like what a sick studio. I guess it's cool to be in the space.
Yeah, it is something about going to a studio and recording.
And I'm
It's a
sure the
little different.
mics and the rooms and whatnot. But yeah, it's like we live in a time where with very little, we can create a very professional sounding thing.
Indeed.
People make records with like a Rode mic and a Scarlett interface.
Mm-hmm. Shoot, T-Pain
Absolutely.
recorded everything on GarageBand and headphones.
I think that's the weirdest thing about today is we almost have too many choices.
Yeah.
My guitar teacher at college taught us such a cool lesson, and he wanted us to like improvise over a song and changes just using one string or two strings.
Mm.
And the lesson was that limitation is a superpower because limitation makes you think.
It really does bring out the creativity. I noticed that even with analog production, having a limitation of like using tape or running your stuff through different channels. Like you're limited on how many channels you can have. You can't have unlimited channels when you're recording. You can't run tape forever. Like eventually it's going to run out. On computers nowadays, everything's like max to infinity, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So it's cool because I feel like it definitely brings a different side out of me personally when I'm creating in an environment that's like enforcing limitations.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah,
It's an essential.
yeah,
And that's the problem then is that like I feel like you go through this weird journey when you create music where you start off with nothing, then you start to get stuff, then you just use far too much stuff for a long time, and you
Indeed.
just use like 100 plugins and everything and just tweak everything for the sake of changing stuff and try and make the most crazy stuff, and then you have years of just that, and then you get to a point where you're like, actually I just need to use 3 things
Yep.
and just make it with as few things as I can, and it's going to be the best it can be.
That's it.
But you almost have to go on this weird trajectory of having access to all the stuff because it's too much stuff. You don't need all the stuff. You don't need 5-6 compressors.
No,
You don't need 6 reverbs and EQs. I mean, you do. Like, it's really cool. But the greatest records of all time were not made with these things.
mm-hmm.
Well, they had like it, but it was limited. You couldn't just plug in like 1076s on because you had 1076s lying around. You know,
Right.
it's like here they are, bro. They're just lying around here. You know, you can't. You have one, and you have 8 tracks on the desk,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and it's like let's go, like let's make it work. I almost wish we had that.
Yeah.
Just to understand like how it is to operate in a place where you need to deliver and it's almost probably exciting to be there because you're on a time frame. You've now rehearsed to come and do this thing. You're ready to do it. You arrive, you walk into the hallowed space.
Mm-hmm.
You know that MJ was there a week ago.
Studio
You know
A.
that the Stones were there 2 months ago. You know what I mean? Gaga recorded a hit here and now you deliver. But no, now we inside.
We're in the stew.
Yeah, I had one of my first movie gigs in LA. We had a person acting in the movie who was singing a song, and they rented out a studio for her to like use one track
Mm.
in the studio, and it was an awesome studio.
And
But
it was in L.A.
it was actually
man.
where they shot "We Are the World." If you search "We Are the World" and you watch that
Wow.
video,
With Michael Jackson.
that's the one. I was in that room recording vocals. I was using one track
Yo.
on the whole desk. Sitting there, like I was like the assistant. I was like ordering pizza and like, very degrading stuff, bro. But I was there, bro. I was there. But I just thought if you go back into those places in the old days, what an experience. But now we come back and it's a photo op.
Yep.
It's a full-on photo. Now we're sitting at the desk, like he's pretending to turn a knob and he's asking me to take a photo of it.
It's like 9
He's like, that buttons doesn't do a thing, and he's sitting there because for the website he wants some photos of him turning the buttons, clicking the knobs. Fake it till you make
sitting
it. You
in
know,
a big chair.